What's up everybody, once again my name is Matt and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In the previous videos we've been covering the Champions Ballad DLC and really there's only one thing left for us to do. In a lot of the bonus dialogue from the champions you can hear them talk about their diaries, and their diaries have actually been added into the game in this DLC pack, so I figured I would just go through today, read all the champions' diaries, and since they are interesting, it's worth making a video on. So here we are in Gerudo Town. We're going to start by talking to Lady Riju. Savak. What's wrong? Are you still worried about the safety of this town? Or have you grown so comfortable here that you can't imagine leaving? Whatever the case may be, you're needed elsewhere. You must eventually leave. You know this. That being said, when it's all over, if you were to drop back by here, I think we'd all be pleased to see you. Yes? Do you need something? Tell me about Urbosa.
Huh?
You wish to speak of Lady Urbosa? What an interesting request. After Naboris was tamed, we located Lady Urbosa's diary. Since you're here, I shall tell you something from it. Lady Urbosa had a beloved friend whom she thought the world of, the Queen of Hyrule. Such a big heart. Our Lady Urbosa was admirable in every aspect of her life. Well, tell me more about that diary. Lady Urbosa's diary is in my room. Since she trusted you, I'm certain she wouldn't mind you reading it. Well, if that's the case, what do you say we go and check it out? I'm pretty sure you do need to talk to Riju first, but now that we've done that, the diary is located right up here in a room on the right side of this couch. So, let's check it out. Read Urbosa's diary? Well, let's start at page 1. My dear friend from afar came to visit Gerudo Town today. It is always a pleasure to see the Queen of Hyrule. She described her reason for coming as urgent. She wished for me to meet her newborn child. Her sweet daughter's name is Zelda. She has her mother's smile. I cannot help but cherish her already. I told her that Zelda is sure to grow up into a dignified and beautiful queen, just like her mother. My friend thanked me, but said that looks are fleeting, and instead she wishes for Zelda to be blessed with true happiness. The way she gazes upon her daughter, her little bird as she calls her, I've never seen such unconditional love. It has been a long while since we laid my dear friend the Queen to rest. I only now have the will to write again. It was so sudden, I still can't believe she is gone. All of my sweet memories of her keep running through my mind. Even now, I can hardly keep the tears at bay. Young Zelda kept her head held high as she said her final goodbye to her mother at the funeral. She carried herself as a true princess, but I can sense the deep grief she is hiding within. I worry for her. I made a voyage to visit Hyrule. After speaking with the king, I saw Zelda for the first time in a year. In truth, it was my concern for her that brought me there. The king allowed me to keep her company as she went to the spring for her training. There, Zelda prayed and prayed in the spring's icy waters until the sun set. I told her many times to stop, but she wouldn't listen. I eventually had to drag her out of the water. Zelda gazed at me for the longest time with heartbreaking vulnerability. Eventually, in a tiny voice, she told me of the pressure and panic she feels at not being able to fulfill her sacred duty. She whispered over and over, "Why can I not do as the royal daughters of the past have done? What is wrong with me?" All I could do was hold her close and listen. I pray that it is enough. Emissaries from Hyrule came to see me today. They informed me that I have been chosen to pilot the divine beast. My people are uneasy about it. They tell me such a dangerous task is not fitting for the chief. I understand their fear. However, I intend to accept this task. Calamity Ganon's resurrection does not only threaten Hyrule, but the whole world. I refuse to sit idly by. Calamity Ganon is closely associated with the Gerudo, an association I deeply resent. I believe Zelda will be here soon to receive my official answer. I am excited to see her as always. I attended the inauguration ceremony alongside the other champions whom I share a fate with. Zelda, Revali, Mipha, and Link are so young. They are Hyrule's future. Daruk and I hope to help them see that future. However, one thing did trouble me. Zelda was uncharacteristically cold towards Link. I can imagine why. I hear Link has been assigned as Zelda's guardian knight. I hope they find a way to get along. Link requested to meet with me today. He tells me Zelda exploited our law that restricts men from entering town to slip away from him. I told him of a trick that would allow him entrance, and he was able to get in. By then, however, Zelda was long gone. I promised to let him know if I saw her, so he reluctantly returned home. In a similar yet distinct way, Link seems to have trouble expressing himself. Perhaps the two can help each other, that is, if she ever gives him the chance. Today I accompanied Zelda as she went to research Naboris. When the sun set, the poor exhausted girl drifted to sleep. I sent word to Link, who showed up at Naboris faster than I expected. Although it is none of my business, I felt the least I could do to bridge their gap was to share some things about Zelda. The rest is up to them. I am so happy to say that Zelda smiles much more often lately. It seems she and Link have finally learned to get along. I hope this will have a positive effect on our training. However, I am concerned we may be running out of time. Whenever I hear of monster attacks or other unusual events plaguing the kingdom, my concern grows. All I can do is pray that Zelda, my little bird, has enough time. I do not pray to the goddesses, but to her mother, my dearest friend. How I miss her. And that's it for Urbosa's diary. Kind of a sad one, but I do appreciate the extra backstory added to the game with that. You get to see like her relationship with the Queen of Hyrule, Zelda and Link, and of course a little more insight into Link and Zelda's relationship. Anyways, that being said, there's more diaries to see, so let's check them out. Alright, so here we are in Rito Village. Next up is Revali's diary. First things first, let's talk to the Rito Elder. What's going on, man? Champion Descendant. 1,000 times thank you. But never mind that now. I am happy to answer anything I can. Well, tell me about Revali then. You're curious about Master Revali. Ho-ho, what perfect timing! We recently found the diary of Revali. We were all excited to locate such a personal item of the champions. However, not just anyone has the right to read something of that nature. And that's why I left Teba in charge of it, since he so admires Master Revali. Well, tell me more about the diary then. Oh, the historic diary of Revali. We recently found at the flight range our champion so adored. Teba took the diary to his home for safekeeping. Was there anything else? Nope, I think that's all I need to know. Alright, so now that we've done that, we can head next door to Teba's house and actually read Master Revali's diary. So it's right over here. Let's check it out. Read the Diary of Revali, the Rito legend. Well, let's start with page 1. I won another archery competition today. As one would expect, the village can't stop talking about my winning streak. In short order, I've managed to break all of the previous records and set an insurmountably high bar. Everywhere I go, I receive praise and affirmation that I'm the pride of the Rito. I could get used to this. The elder asked me what I would like as a prize for my achievements. I told him I wished for an archery training ground. If I am to keep this up, I need somewhere to train at varying elevations. I'm hoping to master a new move I've dreamed up. I keep pushing my archery skills to the limit. My dive is ideal, but the ensuing ascent is not as smooth as I wish it was. I must return to the flight range again tomorrow. There I will become stronger, better. I won't rest until I succeed. The Rito children look up to me. I hear they wish to start training at the flight range too. Perhaps it's not a bad idea to allow everyone to use my training space. These are dangerous times after all. Tomorrow I will try a new strategy I've been devising to control the updraft. I refuse to believe it's impossible. There's a persistent rumor in town that Calamity Ganon's resurrection is imminent. It can't be true, right? A few years ago, scientists dug up an ancient mechanical beast called Meadow. It was supposedly used to fight Ganon. Hyrule's royal family is in search of someone to pilot the beast. They say to do so requires something beyond skill. They say one's soul must contain an incredible sacred power for a divine beast to recognize them as master. They should have just asked for me by name. To control the divine beast and defeat the calamity would finally allow me to prove myself to the world. Hyrule's princess stopped dawdling and asked me to pilot the divine beast. I asked what her plan is. I wish I hadn't. It is completely absurd. The divine beasts are little more than backup for some Hylian knight who has the honor of fighting Calamity Ganon. Me, a sidekick? I thought of declining, but then she looked at me dead in the eye and held my gaze as she said, "We must protect the precious life of this land from the Calamity's grasp at all costs. Hyrule needs you, Revali." It was so corny I almost died, but I won't soon forget the look in her eyes. She meant it with all of her heart. I thought Hylians only thought of themselves, but I suppose there's always an exception to every rule. I'm going to accept, of course, but out of self-respect, I'm going to let her sweat it out a bit longer. Hyrule's princess is coming by to ask for my answer tomorrow. She will surely be overcome with joy when I accept. And her timing is exceptional. I am close, so close to mastering my new move and showing everyone what I'm capable of. When they see it, they'll know without a doubt it should be me fighting Ganon instead of that pathetic knight. I can see it now. The king and princess and the knight all on their knees begging me to defeat Ganon for them. They'll say, "Please, Master Revali, please use your otherworldly skills and intellect to defeat Calamity Ganon." I look forward to that day. I journeyed to Hyrule Castle for an inauguration ceremony. I now bear the grand title of champion. Meaningless pomp, if you ask me. If true strength relied only on a title and uniform, everyone would be a champion. I do like the blue scarf, though. That annoyingly silent knight was as emotionless as usual. I can never tell what's on his mind. Likely nothing at all. Somehow, I can't help but believe the stories about him beating adult knights in swordplay when he was only a child. Still, he doesn't stand a chance against me. There is no one alive who can keep up with my aerial combat. And that reminds me, it's about time I come up with a fitting name for that new move I created. What kind of name would be worthy? Revali's something. Tornado? Whirlwind? Masterpiece? The princess came to the village on official business, along with her shadow, that insufferable knight. I tried to talk to him while the princess met with the elder, but he was his usual quiet self. Why do people like him so? I also gave him the privilege of seeing me perform Revali's Gale. Nothing. No reaction at all to my impressive feat. I showed it to him even knowing there was a chance of failure since it's still so new. He must truly be slow-witted. I tried to provoke him into facing me, but to no avail. It's like talking to a stone. Our interactions were a waste of time, so I flew off to find solace with Meadow. What's wrong with that guy? Daruk informed me that we had been asked to escort the princess to Lanayru. We were to see the princess off at dawn at the mountain's base and meet her there when she returned at sunset. Must I participate in this nonsense? Though, I still remember that look on the princess's face. When she asked me to pilot the divine beast, she was not only determined, she seemed desperate. She's aware she can't fulfill her sacred duties, and anyone can see how it weighs on her. It's difficult for me to comprehend the troubles of the talentless, but I'm trying. It's not that I dislike the princess. She tries her hardest. It's simply not good enough. No, I don't think I can spare the time to send her off in the morning, but perhaps I will fly over to greet her at sunset. Perhaps the alleged sealing power will show her some mercy and finally awaken this time. And that's it for Revali's diary. Honestly, I kinda liked Revali until reading that, but Dude, like, he really does just seem like an insufferable person to be around. I don't know, dude. You gotta calm down and be a little bit nicer to people. That being said, there's still 2 more diaries, so let's get on with it. Alright, so here we are in Goron City. We're gonna read Daruk's diary next, but first things first, let's head over here and talk to Yunobo, because he knows about the diary. So what's going on, fella? Hey! The boss said his back is all better, Goro. Oh, and Redania stopped rampaging. I feel like I can finally take it easy, Goro. Oh, did you need something, Goro? Tell me about Daruk. About Lord Daruk, Goro. Oh, that reminds me of something. I found Lord Daruk's training journal. He must have been a big eater. He sure talks about delicious rocks a bunch. What else? Oh, Lord Daruk also had a good friend who liked to eat as much as he did. I don't have much of an appetite myself, so I'm pretty scrawny, Goro. I'm gonna have to start eating lots so I can become as strong as those two. Tell me about that journal. That's right. I found it when I was cleaning out the abandoned North Mine where we met. Lord Daruk's training journal is at my house now, Goro. Do you need anything, Goro? Nope, I think that's really all I need to know. Alright, so let's head over to Yunobo's house and read that journal. If you're not sure where Yunobo's house is, it's actually pretty much behind where we just were. It's the second house on, like, the right side of Goron Village if you go from the entrance. Left side if you're coming from the shrine. That being said, though, head inside and the journal is right over here on his desk. So let's check it out. Daruk's training journal. Let's start at page 1. I'm gonna start writing in this diary thing starting now. Ugh, a diary. Maybe I'll call it my training journal. They say all you gotta do is write down stuff that happens. Us Gorons prefer the simple life, so I hope simple stuff counts. Let's see, for today's journal entry, what should I write about? Oh, I know. I had some rock roast from the peak of Death Mountain. It was delicious. I think I'll eat more of it soon. I talked to some Hylians at the base of the mountain. All anyone wants to talk about these days is Calamity Ganon. Reminds me of when those tiny Sheikah came to Death Mountain a few years ago to dig up that divine beast or whatever. The Hylians were saying that beast thing is a weapon someone will need to learn how to control. Back in the good old days, Gorons didn't worry about relics we couldn't eat. Now I'm hungry. Maybe I'll track down a prime rock roast for one of my dinners tonight. Today I saw someone being attacked when I was out looking for lunch rocks at the peak. He was a little tiny guy, so I rushed down the mountain to help him. I was shocked to find he was handy with a sword. By the time I rolled his way, he'd already taken out all the monsters. I couldn't help but admire his Goron-like strength. While I was distracted, a monster almost got the jump on me. He stopped it. The great Daruk, saved by a tiny Hylian. I must have had a dopey look on my face when that happened. Hope he didn't notice. That little Hylian from before is named Link. He's got a respectable appetite. Loves to eat meat, fruit, vegetables. All sorts of things a decent person wouldn't dream of eating. Link will cook up and eat just about anything. I offered him some grade A rock roast to help refine his palate. I asked him how it tasted. He liked it so much he was speechless. I knew Hylians could eat rocks too. Eating isn't the only thing Link and I have in common. The little guy is also incredibly strong. He said sometimes when he focuses, it feels like time slows down. Heh, I really like that guy. He's the type of guy you can trust to have your back, and also have a nice hearty meal with. Yeah, that settles it. From now on, Link is an official brother. Hyrule's little princess came to Goron City and asked me to pilot the divine beast. I said yes. The great Daruk never turns down someone in need. When I said I would, the princess seemed really happy. There will be 4 champions to control 4 divine beasts, and 1 swordsman to take on Ganon. Including the princess, our anti-Ganon team is 6 strong, made up of all different kinds of people. This has the makings of an epic feast. I got the ball rolling by giving the princess my best rock roast. She said thanks, but I think she was holding back a grimace. Must have had something foul on her mind. I'm a champion now. Feels good. I hadn't talked with Link in a while, so seeing him at the inauguration ceremony was nice. It was a good day. Word has it Link has been chosen as Zelda's appointed knight. I can't think of a better brother for the job. I hear one of those ancient machine things went nuts during some tests and shot out deadly beams. With true Goron spirit, Link grabbed a pot lid from the ground and deflected the blast. He nailed the thing in its weak spot and saved the day. His bravery caught the king's eye, and not long after that, he was appointed to guard Zelda. I'd expect nothing less from the little guy. I've been chosen to pilot Redania, but I was having trouble controlling it. I was the only champion who was struggling. I asked Link for advice, but he just shoved me into the Divine Beast so I could explore it aimlessly all day. I can't explain it, but by the end of the day, I was able to control Redania just how I wanted to. I guess experience is the best teacher. Little guy's strength must come from working hard and never giving up. Good lesson, brother. As thanks, I'm gonna treat him to some gourmet sirloin rock. All my Hylian brother seems to do these days is watch over the tiny princess while she does her research. It looks like tough work, but the princess seems a lot happier and talks more since she's been doing it, so it must be okay. I hear the little guy's finally opened up about his troubles to the princess while they were shoveling food. Surprisingly, she opened up right back, said something princessy like, I guess we're the same, you and I. Sounds heavy. They must have been bonding over their food preferences. That'll do it alright. Speaking of opening up, all this journal writing has made me realize something about myself. Writing makes me hungry. And that's it for Daruk's journal. Kind of an interesting one. I would say it's the funniest of all the journals, but also you do get to see a little bit more about Link and Zelda's relationship and how they've opened up to each other, and also Daruk and Link's relationship, which is just, you know, that of like two best friends. It's pretty cool. Anyways, on to Zora's Domain for the final diary. And last but not least, we got Mipha's diary. But first things first, let's go and talk to the king himself. What's up, man? Link, I am truly and eternally grateful to you for saving Zora's Domain. Everyone is rejoicing. There is no happier place in the world. But Link, there is something I wish to ask you. You journey within Ruda, the divine beast of water. Now you are back, but Mipha has still yet to return. Is it as I feared? Were we too late? Yeah, she dead, bro. I met her spirit, though. Her spirit? So that means Mipha really is. Did she say anything to you? I see. My dear Mipha, I simply cannot believe it. There was nothing I could do to save her. Still, Mipha fulfilled her heroic duty as a champion. And she will never be alone. It is my duty as her father to watch over her, even now. Link, she really loved you, you know. There is no mistaking that even now she is overjoyed to be able to help you. Promise me that you will always remember her. Promise me that. You know what? I'll never forget her. I appreciate you saying that. You're a good man. If you ever run into trouble, know that you are always welcome here. No matter the time, we shall all greet you with open fins. Now then, is there anything I can help you with? Tell me a little bit about Mipha. Yes, of course, you wish to hear about our dear Mipha. I am sure it would bring her peace to know she is on your mind. Mipha was always kind from the day she was born. She was equally as kind to her own as she was to complete strangers. When you first took to visiting us back when you were but a child, she adored you like a brother. However, as you know, Hylians age much faster than us. Eventually, you grew so much she began to look up to you. As Mipha's diary plainly states, it was not long before she developed strong feelings for you. A Zora princess falling in love with a Hylian swordsman. It reminds me of a Zora legend of old. That is why I welcomed the idea of you and Mipha becoming husband and wife. It is a shame you two never had the chance to see what might have been. What about that diary now? Ah, of course, Mipha's diary was found just recently. Its discovery brought me much joy. It is on that table over there. I do not mind if you choose to read it. I am sure Mipha would forgive you anything. Well, if that's the case, then let's check it out, even though she told us not to. Mipha's diary, let's start on page 1. At the request of Hyrule's king, a group of outsiders came to greet us at the domain. One of them was a Hylian child of only about 4 years of age. His name was Link. He made quite a first impression. He was curious and full of energy, with a ready smile. Are all Hylian children that way? One thing that surely sets him apart is his swordsmanship, which I hear is exceptional. He has even bested adults. He must be somewhat reckless, however, as he was covered in bruises. Wishing to be helpful, I healed his wounds for him. It must have been the first time seeing healing magic, as he looked up at me with big round eyes. It was adorable. A divine beast was excavated from Zora's domain. This one is called Varuda. The first time I laid eyes on Ruda, I was surprised by how cute it was. It's so big and round with a long, awkward nose. According to the Sheikah who found Ruda, divine beasts require someone worthy to control them. It's fun to imagine someone piloting this enormous beast in the distant past. I wonder who will have the honor next. Link came to visit the domain. It feels like forever since he was last here. He no longer resembles the child I first met. He is now an accomplished knight and keeper of the sword that seals the darkness. I'm so proud. However, he hardly speaks anymore, and smiles even more rarely. He's still the kind soul I knew, but something has changed. I asked him if something had happened, if something was wrong. He merely shook his head. Perhaps it is his newly acquired height, but I feel he is ever looking past me, into the distance beyond. The Princess of Hyrule paid a special visit to the domain. She asked me if I would agree to pilot a divine beast. She told me she needs my help to face the calamity. My heart knew at once what to do. I agreed without reservation. Calamity Ganon must not be resurrected. If he is, there is no way to ensure the safety of my people, or of anyone. I do not know what will happen. All I know is that if there is anything I can do to help, I must try. I must protect Hyrule. There is also that the divine beasts are meant to assist the chosen hero when he faces Ganon. In this way, I can help Link. Link came to visit me. It had been ages. I told him the Lionel of Ploymus Mountain had been terrorizing everyone lately. When I said that, he started walking towards the mountain. Without a word, spellbound, I followed him there. When we were almost there, he told me to turn back. He insisted he would be fine on his own. I stubbornly stayed. While I argued, the Lionel attacked us from behind. I was sure we had met our end. How silly of me to doubt. With a sure hand and a fierce gleam in his eye, Link unsheathed the sword that seals the darkness and defeated our foe. His swordsmanship was swift and graceful. I was fascinated by the beauty of his movements. Though I should have been terrified, I cannot help but feel safe in the presence of my dear friend. His kindness and determination to help those in need, his strength and skill, my heart is drawn to his. I am doomed. The last beautiful move Link performed on the mountain is called a spin attack. Perhaps I will attempt it with my spear. Father has finally given his blessing for me to pilot the divine beast. The threat of the calamity can no longer be ignored. Father said that Zora must play their part. He seemed on the brink of tears when he made me promise to return unharmed. My eyes burned with tears as well, so I simply nodded. Sagan could hardly look at me. Muzu left partway through. I feel awful for putting them through this, but I must do what I can to help Link. I can never forgive myself otherwise. Speaking of Link, I've at last finished gathering the materials for the armor. I shall start making it at once. Today was the inauguration ceremony at Hyrule Castle. It was an honor to take part. However, honestly, I do not remember much about it. but only because something unforgettable happened afterward. I experienced something wondrous, a beautiful moment in time I shall treasure forever. I am grateful to the princess for agreeing to my request, and to Daruk for, for bringing me closer to Link. Oh, I did hear something that shocked me enough to almost overshadow that happy moment. Link has been chosen to guard the princess wherever she goes. They shall be spending much time together. I finally completed that special armor for Link. I am confident it will fit him perfectly. He is coming to the domain soon. I hope to give him my gift when I see him. But should I really go through with it? According to the old legend, long ago a Zora princess fell in love with a Hylian swordsman. Perhaps there is hope. This will be a rare occasion that Link is not accompanying the princess. We should have some time to ourselves. Oh, I have an idea. At sunset, I shall ride upon Ruta with Link. Zora, princess of the past, please lend me your courage. And that is it for Mipha's diary. Also, kind of a sad and tragic one if you think about it. I mean, that last bit probably never happened. So, who knows what may have happened should that last event had taken place. Anyways, though, that's it for all the champion diaries. That took a lot longer than I thought it would. But I think that's where I'm going to end off this video. So if you guys enjoyed this part, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more, consider subscribing. But once again, guys, my name is Matt. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.